Hey everybody. For those of you who've seen this video on Facebook, this is pretty much the same video, but I want to do it for YouTube since it didn't upload the right way the first time. Um, so for YouTubers, you're getting a special exclusive version of this video just for YouTube. Um, I really want to talk about Marvel and DC in the film industry, the comic books going into film. Um, so DC, they kind of started it all. And so they started, with like Superman and Batman, and Marvel really wasn't into the picture yet. So Superman kind of took the lead as far as superhero films goes with comic books, and based on what I remember, it sounds like the first two did really well, and the third and fourth did not. Um, and then Superman Returns really didn't do anything for most people, but there's some people who are like, oh, it was good. Um, Batman was a huge. Batman by Tim Burton, the first two, Batman and Batman Returns. Batman Forever was, some people are like, oh, I liked it. There's some people like, ooh, I really didn't like it. Batman and Robin just kerplop. I mean, that series was dead at that point. But then Batman Begins brought it back. Christopher Nolan found a brilliant way to bring it all back. And he did it in a much more realistic fashion, which I think a lot of people really liked. Dark Knight was huge. I mean, that's the reason why Marvel and DC are huge right now is because of Dark Knight. Um, More so DC, obviously, because they own the rights to Batman. But so yeah, Dark Knight was huge. That's kind of the really really big comic book movie right now. Um, for most people, it's still the best one. Um, Dark Knight Rises is on the way. Uh, so let's talk about Marvel now. Marvel started out very, very weak. I mean, they had The Punisher, the very, very first one with Dolph Lundgren. They had, I think X-Men was next. And that one was, it's big now because of all the sequels, but at the time it was just like, good, but, not great. Um, but what really made Marvel into the big picture was Spider-Man in 2002, and then even bigger in 2004 was Spider-Man 2. That's another film where a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's one of the best superhero films ever made." Um, Spider-Man 3 is kind of like what happened with Batman Forever. You're either like, "Oh, I loved it," and some people are like, "Oh, I really didn't like it." Um, Amazing Spider-Man's on the way, so Spider-Man's still in the works, just like the Batman movies, and even Superman. Superman has Man of Steel coming up soon in December of 2012 as of right now. Um, then you got the flops. I mean, we got the Man Thing from Marvel, which was terrible. Not a lot of people even know about that one. A lot of people really didn't like Fantastic Four, especially the old one. That one was really bad. Even I think it was unreleased because it was so bad. But then there was the one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. Um, I personally like that one, but I know there's a lot of people that really didn't like it. Um, then there was Rise of the Silver Surfer, which you just know was just trying to be big, but because of all the marketing and everything else, and turns out not a lot of people liked it. Um, what else? Daredevil was one of those things where people are like, it was okay, and some people are like, oh, it was phenomenal. Um, I'm kind of in between on Daredevil. I mean, they had the concept down, they had the look of it down, the costume was right. I even thought some of the casting was right, especially with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner in an actual real life relationship. That was perfect at the time. They're even married now. Um, I heard even Daredevil's being remade with Jason Statham. I think that was something that's been planned for a few years now. Um, so hopefully the Daredevil remake with Jason Statham will be good. Um, what else is there? I did talk about the Punisher a little bit, but there was two more Punisher films. There was just the Punisher with what's his name, Thomas Jane and John Travolta. That one was one of those things where if you love the comics, you loved it or you hated it. And then there was the oh my god, Punisher Warzone. No, I mean that was the determining point where Marvel was like, we're done with Punisher. We're not going to make any more movies about him now. Um, Ray Stevenson, he's been in some good movies, but as far as lead star of anything, he shouldn't be the lead star. So Punisher Warzone was, or in some cases. So let's see here. So I'll give some of my personal reflection. So DC, obviously, they're owning everything with the Dark Knight. That's kind of what's big for them right now. So Dark Knight Rises will be even bigger. Um, Man of Steel, they're hoping will be big, and I'm hoping it'll be big too. Um, the problem is Zack Schneider, and I don't know if some of you think this way too, but he's so good at his visuals that he almost forgets that he's making a story. And I really hope that with Man of Steel, he doesn't ignore the story like he's done with some of his previous movies. I really hope he can make a great visual like he's done before, but this time around as a director, hopefully he'll become a better storyteller. So I'm hoping that Man of Steel will do that. And I'm also hoping that because Christopher Nolan's on board as producer, will Man of Steel have a more realistic approach to Superman if that's even possible. Um, Marvel, I actually think they're doing really, really well. I mean, we got Spider Man. The first two alone were great. The third one was kind of iffy on both sides. Um, Iron Man is what huge for Marvel. I mean, they have Iron Man and Iron Man 2, the Avengers coming up, Iron Man 3 coming up. I think a lot of people are really into Iron Man. Captain America's coming up. Um, Based on what I read in reviews, it sounds like not a lot of people like Green Lantern for DC. I actually liked Green Lantern, and I know a lot of the hardcore fans did. Um, but as far as like critic wise, it sounds like it didn't do too well, and I don't know about the box office numbers, but yeah, it sounds like not a lot of critics liked it, which is unfortunate because I thought it was a good movie. But so Marvel and DC, I would actually say Marvel's doing better right now. I think because they have so many more heroes lined up, especially with the Avengers coming out soon, which is like 5 different heroes. Because yeah, I heard Hawkeye's going to be in it, so that's 5. Um, and then pretty much DC has just Batman and Superman. And even though they got other ones along the way like the Flash and Wonder Woman and a couple of other stuff, I think Marvel is just more established right now. And if you were looking at the 70s and 80s, DC was ahead. But um, I think with the Avengers, they're keeping the whole cast. And with DC, it sounds like even if a Justice League film did get made, it sounds like it'll have a different cast. So I'm kind of iffy about that. Um, so let me know what you guys think. I mean, they're both good companies, but I think Marvel has some more well-established characters, I guess. So right now, I'm more for Marvel in my opinion, but DC has some good stuff too. But right now, I'm gonna have to go with Marvel on this one. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, do you think Marvel or DC's doing better? What's one of their better and worst movies? Um, so let's make this a discussion video. Let's talk about Marvel and DC in film.